What is going on? Hey guys, what is poppin'? So, lots of noise, rumbling going on. I know that a few of you guys either purchased the Osmo Pocket 3 or have been interested in purchasing the Osmo Pocket 3. And one of the biggest questions when using the Pocket 3 as a webcam was, can you can you get the audio from the DJI Mic 2 if you purchased the creator combo? Can you get the audio while in webcam mode? And it turns out that you can. So I did a test, 2 weeks ago when it was released. Doc has done a handful of tests as well when it was released. And for whatever reason, we couldn't figure out the mode. We couldn't figure out audio. And so, you search in the settings, see if it was hidden, and nowhere to be found was the audio settings. And so I was looking, I've been watching tons of videos, and it turns out that for whatever reason, Ken, what is going on? Glad you're on. I sent a bunch of tickets, but it's not related to this. Hi, Ken. But I know that Doc probably has been bothering you about the audio for the Osmo Pocket. It's not a you thing. So basically what it is that DJI doesn't know how to name the audio, and you can get the audio when using the Osmo Pocket 3 as a webcam. It shows up as capture inactive. Literally, that's what it's called. So let me switch over to this scene that I created. Okay, so now you guys, and you probably heard, let me move this mic out the way. You probably heard it switch already. And so you can see the Ecamm sound levels, laughing at Ken, laugh at me. You can see the Ecamm sound levels here. So my Rodecaster Duo is muted. You probably heard the difference between the Shure SM7. Let me turn off active track so it doesn't make you guys nauseous. Okay, you can hear the difference. Now you're hearing my room reverb. These are the onboard mics of the Osmo Pocket 3. The Osmo Pocket 3 has 3 built-in mics. So you're getting all 3. You can see the sound levels going up and down. And so super weird. I'm sure that DJI is going to fix it in a firmware update. But for now, if you do have one of these devices, you want to use it in Ecamm or in any other platform, and you want to get your audio quality, just look for the mic called Capture Inactive, and that's that. Let me swipe over. We're going to switch to the DJI Mic 2 soon, but I just want to show you the settings really quick. So if we come over, you can see over here, there's this little mic icon. And so you can see it's right now coming through at stereo. You can choose from stereo to mono. The wind noise reduction is off. I'm not in a windy environment, although that worked really well in Jamaica. So make sure that you stay tuned for those reviews coming out. Right? Who knew that the SM7B makes such a difference, especially in my room with the room reverb? Kevin, what is going on? Glad you said that. Directional audio. So now you can see, now check this out. The Osmo Pocket 3 has 3 onboard mics. Now we are getting the audio from all 3. Now this is on the front, which should be opposite me. I don't know what they consider the front and what they consider the back. So this is just the front. This is now the front and back. So this is really good if you are, once you figure out which side is the front and which side is the back, if you wanted to record a subject and really isolate where the sound is coming from, that's where you can choose the direction if you want it from the front, from the back. Let's come back over here. Or if you wanted all 3 mics, right? So you have that there. So now what I'm going to do is with the DJI Mic 2, we're going to turn that on. So let me come back over here, make sure I'm in focus, press the power button over here. Okay, so we have now switched. Oh, it should give us, there is the confirmation on the screen. Mic transmitter connected, and you should have heard now a significant difference as well, because now we are a lot closer to the mic, right? So you're getting the audio quality here. You can see in the eCam sound levels, still under capture inactive, still getting the sound bouncing up and down. And then you can also see on the screen here, the audio levels. Let me put myself back on. You can see the audio levels bouncing up and down on the screen. If we do the same exact thing, let's swipe over. And now you can see it changes from a microphone to a little DJI mic transmitter. How cute is that? Let's click on the mic transmitter. Anselm, what's poppin'? I see you. Anselm just keeps saying, yep, I see you. Okay, so now we switched over to the settings. Some additional options here. If you, for now, when you purchase the creator combo, you only have one. If you decide, once DJI starts selling them, if you decide to purchase a secondary transmitter, these options that are grayed out where it says channel mono, that will open up, right? So that'll go from mono to stereo, and then you catch your light before it hits the ground. Let's come back over here. Okay. All right. So let me come back. And so then once you have a secondary transmitter connected, you'll be able to choose between mono and stereo, and then you'll be able to choose if you want your transmitters on the left channel or on the right channel and vice versa. So that's what those two grayed out options are. Then you have your transmitter gain here, so we can bring the gain up or down if you want. I'm noticing, and you can see here, it is a little on the high end, so I'm leaving it on 0. And then again, if we take a look at the levels on screen, that throws me off a little bit because you can see that it's coming in red. So it looks like I'm coming in hot, but when coming in hot, but when I listen to the audio, I feel like it sounds all right. And I'm sure that if I was clipping, you guys would have told me that the audio sounds horrible. So let's come back to these settings here. You got your transmitter gain. Then the same thing, you can mute the transmitter. So I'm going to mute. So I muted the transmitter. It obviously killed the sound, and on eCam, the sound levels stopped bouncing up and down. And then you also have this option down here, which is the transmitter noise reduction off or on. So now what's really cool is if you are looking at the mic over here, blue is for noise reduction off, green is for noise reduction on. So I'm going to press it on screen, turned to green. And now the noise reduction is on. That's really useful when you're outside in a noisy environment, or if you're in a public place and you want it to kind of isolate the audio around you. That's great, but then it kind of doesn't give you that more natural sound. So if you're in a quiet environment, I would recommend turning that off. Now, a cool feature is that you can turn this stuff off and on from the mic itself. So let's tap on that screen. And what you're going to do is to turn the noise reduction off. You're actually going to press the power button. Now you can see on the screen, it went from on to off, and then it went from green to blue on the screen there. Some other options, you have your link button above the power button. And what the link button does is that will stop your recording off and on. You can see here on the screen, it is currently recording. I'm going to press that button again. Now it's currently turned off. And if we come over to this side, the DJI Mic 2s also have 32-bit float internal recording. So what you want to do is, if you want to take advantage of that 32-bit float internal recording, because it's not going to give you 32-bit float baked into the micro SD card, it's only going to be recording internally, you want to make sure that you record on board. So I pressed the record button. You can see here the red light turned on. And so now if you wanted to just have a secondary recording source, you have your eCam, your ISO levels, you have your audio here. Don't be like India and drop the mics. then you are good to go. Now, that's really cool, especially for a lot of us in the Ecamm Live community. We have a lot of presenters. We have a lot of instructors. We have a lot of like pastors and preachers and from religious institutions that are always moving around using their hands and stuff like that. So this is really cool because I had active track turned off because I didn't want to distract you guys. We're going to double tap the screen. Active track is enabled. You can choose to frame yourself. I'm going to get rid of some of this headroom here. Okay. I cut off too much of my head. I'm going to frame myself in the left-hand side of the screen here. And so, voice select noise reduction. Yes, very good. Hey, hey CK, how are you? Okay, so now going back to the presenters, going back to the instructors, people who are moving around, this is a great feature because now being able to take advantage of your DJI Mic 2, taking advantage and taking my panel with me, right? Now I can move around my room. I can have really good audio quality with me. I have the active track turned on. I can talk. Obviously, you would have this clipped. You can connect a lav mic to this. I am recording internally here. So we are good to go for, let me sit down and make sure I don't fall. And put this back. But we're good to go now with a complete package for a really great device. And I do want to add, so some things, I don't know if you guys have noticed already, I am noticing dropped frames. Not an Ecamm thing, is definitely something with the Osmo Pocket 3. When connected via webcam, I've noticed it just not doing any recordings. I've noticed it like on Zoom and stuff like that. So I'm hoping that that's going to be fixed in a firmware update. The other thing that I'm sure they'll fix is the naming of the device, the audio device that shows up from Capture Inactive to whatever they choose, whether it's Osmo Pocket 3 or DJI Mic 2 or something like that. Hopefully that comes out soon. We said the drop frames. And then the other thing, and I don't know why they did that. I mean, I guess because Sony's kind of doing the same thing, but right now the resolution when you are using it as a webcam is coming through at the max resolution is at 1080p, 30 frames per second. So this is the audio quality that you are getting at 1080p, 30 frames per second. As long as you're properly lit, you can see here I'm using a Lume Cube panel light. My thing is acting crazy. All right. Hold on, let me fix that. Let me bring this up. Okay, here you go. So you can see the Lume Cube, and I'm only at 1% brightness. It is a little bit at arm's length away, but I do have the rest of the lights turned off. In the studio, I have just my little background Pavo tube there, and just using this one light to light me, and it works really well. If we go in, I will say to make adjustments to the sharpness and the noise reduction to get the best quality, because I feel like there's over processing going on. If you've watched reviews, everybody is talking about lowering the sharpness, lowering the noise reduction. So same thing, you're gonna go from the right-hand side, swipe over, and we're gonna go into where it says image adjustment, custom. And then you can see on the left, you have your sharpness and then you have your noise reduction. I currently have it at -1 for each. A lot of people, depending on what your lighting is, you can change this. I bounce between -1 and -2 for my sharpness. So if we go in, now we are at -2 for sharpness. And then the noise reduction, let me show you what that looks like. So this is -2 noise reduction. I am in a darker setting right now, so I wouldn't recommend this. I would recommend it if you are outside in extreme sunlight, but I feel like over here you can absolutely pick up some of the green with that. So you want that noise reduction to turn on. You can go from -2 to 1, as you can see here, but then I'm not showing off, Anselm. I'm helping the community take advantage of really great features and making sure they look the best and sound the best on camera. because that is what I do. You guys know that. Not showing off. Why would I do that? Anyway, so here the noise reduction is at 1, and you just want to be careful. Let's go and change this sharpness up to 2. And that just brings out, like, if you look at my complexion, it just, I don't know what it is, but I know I don't like it. How it looks at the complexion, just like makes my skin look rough and stuff like that. So I would recommend, let's go back down to -1. Here, I think that this looks okay. And then the noise reduction, again, depending on your setting, depending on what you want. A live stream, I can see you relying more on the settings right now, fixing it if you're live, because obviously you're live, we can't do much. But what I would say, especially with the noise reduction, is leaving it to as low as possible. So whether that's 1 or -1, and if you did in fact need to bring out noise adjustments, if it is something that you're going to do in editing and post, make those adjustments in post where you can control it. But for now, what do we have? I had my sharpness, I think, at -2. Yeah, and then -1. You hit confirm, and then you're good to go. You can make additional adjustments. Right now, I have it at auto. You go into your exposure, and you can change some values, right? So you can change your shutter speed. I don't know. Oh, is that why I'm showing up as drop frames? I didn't change that. What's happening here? That's weird. So it should be 1/60 because I am shooting at 30 frames per second. But for whatever reason, I've noticed that if you're in webcam mode, there are certain things that it doesn't let you adjust. Interesting. I don't know why. Usually if you just tap it, you can see that's not working. Oh, duh. Special girl. It's time for me to end the night. You have to make sure you change auto to manual. But that's weird. Whatever. I digress. So that might be why, but you can see that it changed significantly the image, right? So now I am at the proper frame rate, 1/60, the 180 degree rule for your shutter speed. So I am at 1/60, super dark. So let's make some adjustments. And you can see the EV value right now is bouncing between -1.7 and -1.3. That means I am way underexposed. I am going to leave that shutter speed at 1/60 because that's what it should be because I'm shooting at 30 frames per second. And let's mess around with the ISO. The ISO, let's bump this up to 400. That's 800, a little bit overexposed. So you can do a few things. And what you should actually do, if we want to do this right, is 1% on here. If I were to come in and bring this up, I'm being blinded. I am. You can see the big hot spot on my face, but you can see the difference that made. So now check this out, but you can't see my luxurious tan from Jamaica in my Jamaica shirt. But anyway, I digress. Let's come back. Let's change this ISO. Gabe says that he loves the camera's great. And at 1080p, dude, could you imagine what this would look like if they were to release a firmware update letting us use the Osmo Pocket 3 as a webcam at 4K? Bruh. Okay, so this is at 200 ISO. Let's bring this ISO down now to 100. Still too dark. So I would say, so right when you're messing with this stuff, and you can see again, your EV here is at -1.3. So let's bring this up. And you can see the huge drop there, or the huge, drop between the two. So bringing up, where am I at on the Lume Cube? So I brought this up. I'm at 30% brightness here on the Lume Cube, and I can bring it out, if you really wanted to get like proper lighting and stuff. I just have this mounted really quick here. And so I like sitting between that -3. It is kind of, if I were to bring this up a little bit more, EV value. And then again, it's different for a live stream, but if you are going to make some adjustments in post, that is easier to bring the exposure up here. And so 200 ISO, we can confirm that. And now we are okay over here. So yeah, I got mixed feelings. But anyway, I just wanted to show you guys that you can change your exposure. So if we go back, you can change your exposure. And if we swap between, can I click on that? Usually you can click on the EV. That's while you're recording, and you can bring your exposure value up and down. So we can confirm that. Your white balance, you can leave it on auto. It's actually the light on here. So if we come in, the light on here is at, what are we saying here? 5600. So let me see if I match it to this light here. Let's bring this up. See, that's giving me a more realistic, in my opinion, look to my skin tone. So we leave that up. 5600. Okay. All right, let's confirm that there. If we go back, I want to see that EV meter. Still at that -3, but I feel like this is now a more true to life. You can see the blues over here, the colors of the Rodecaster Pro, colors in my jacket. I feel like this is a truer to life representation of what this looks like. And then the focus mode. I have product showcase mode turned on. So if I come over here, bring that down, it works really well, very similar to the Sony setup. There's the product showcase mode. So if I wanted to bring the lens out, this is the wide angle lens adapter, and show you guys the wide angle lens adapter. You can see how quickly this comes into focus. You don't have to cover your whole face. But what you do have to be mindful of is that if you want to use product showcase mode, you have to turn off active track, because if you have it on active track on your face, then it's going to mess with that product showcase. So what I usually do is, if I know I'm going to do this type of setup where I'm showing you guys something like this, or I wanted to show you the tripod, just bring something else into frame, right? And show you guys a product like that. What I'll do is I'll position myself into frame because I know I'm not moving around. I'll tap on the screen to select that focus point so that it's not going to do any focus breathing, and it knows to focus on that section there. So we're good to go. Leave product showcase mode turned on. And now you can see how quickly that is focusing in and out. I absolutely love that. The biggest key to that is honestly just making sure that you are properly lit. Let's bring this full screen. Let's get these things out of the way so you guys can see. And this is what you were looking at with the Osmo Pocket full screen. If I were to double tap on the joystick, active track is currently enabled. And so as I move around, that could be distracting if you move around a lot the way I move around. But now you can see more of the image quality. This looks so great at 1080p, in my opinion. I wish we were to get 4K. But anyway, the real purpose of oh, I'm muted again. Hold on. My bad, guys. I was muted, so I'm sure I sounded really low. There you go. So now we're coming back. The audio is coming back from here. Was coming from the SM7B, so I'm sure that was low. Yep. Yeah. That's because I had it. And all my things are like out of whack, and that's because I haven't live streamed in a while. But all I was saying was that the video quality looks so great at 1080p. Active track is, am I still muted? Well, it shows like I'm coming up here. Is it still muted? It was muted before. I don't know if it's still muted now. I know that there is a little bit of latency, of course, from when I'm streaming to when you're streaming or to when you're seeing it. But I'm seeing the sound levels on my Osmo Pocket 3. And I am seeing that Ecamm is seeing it as well. So we should be good to go. Let me bring this down. I'm like really blinding myself. This is a little bit better here. Okay. And so basically all I was just saying was that for 1080p, this looks really great. I wish that they were to, okay, good. All right. There you go. Yeah. Thank you. Hey, K-Walk, what's popping? But I wish that they were to release 4K with this. That would look even better. But I will take this for what it is, because when you're on the go, You can connect this to your computer, going to give you much better quality. You have your mics, put it all in your bag, you're good to go. You get your active track. You get so much, and you can record internally at the same time while you're doing that webcam mode. Now, the one thing I will say that is also limited is that unfortunately you can't kind of like mix and match, right? So if you decide to record internally to the micro SD card while you're in webcam mode, because the webcam mode is pushing out a resolution of 1080p, that's what you're going to get the recording, the internal recording baked in at 1080p as well. But it's always good to have backups so that if you did want to edit some stuff in post, you can do some editing in post as well. But the biggest thing, like I was saying, was I really just wanted to come on to give the peoples, because there were a handful of people who were, I know Doc tried a handful of times, I tried, who wanted to know if you can get audio working out of the Osmo Pocket 3 when in webcam mode. You can. It just shows up as capture inactive for now. So when you are looking to select the audio device, make sure you look for capture inactive, and that is what's going to show up. All right, you guys, that's it. That's all I wanted to give an update for. Appreciate you guys. I am going to be dropping some stuff on my channel. So if you want to know more about the Osmo Pocket 3, or if you want to see some more features or something like that, definitely hit me up. I'll talk to you guys on the next one. Yeah. Peace out, y'all.